So as usual, I'm here always on the marketplace to bring you more business at lunchtime across the globe. Now, stay with us. Another very first story. Vodafone Ghana has announced the 19th of March as a rollout date for its 4G network services. According to the company, an earlier date in April has been moved due to its commitment to deliver excellent service for Ghanaians. Outgoing Chief Executive of Vodafone, Yolanda Cuba, at a press conference, disclosed that in all, the company has invested about 200 cell sites to deliver this service.
Vodafone Ghana acquired a 4G spectrum this year to roll out an improved service across the country. This makes it the second company to acquire the service since it was introduced by the National Communication Authority. The company has rescinded its earlier decision to roll out the service in April due to an advanced investment and commitment to get its customers on 4G before the second quarter of the year. Outgoing Chief Executive Yolanda Cuba has been explaining at a press briefing.
Of our license, we mentioned that we will be rolling out 4G towards the later part of Q2, which is around June. However, I've had a team that has been working marvelously and actually have worked and bent over backwards to make sure that we can launch 4G not in the second quarter, even in the later part of the second quarter, but actually next week. So on the 19th of March, Vodafone Ghana will be launching commercially our 4G services to the public. Today, we've got more than 200 sites live. So I'm actually on 4G. I'm so happy. But the rest of you will have to wait until the 19th of March to actually experience the real 4G.
She also disclosed that the company is investing about $100 million to upgrade existing sites and new ones it intends to establish.
So we had to put in new equipment across the board. We had to actually accelerate all our equipment actually coming into the country and put that up. There were some existing sites where we put in new infrastructure on top of that, but there are some new sites that we've gone for as well.
Okay, how much have invested in all these sites?
By the time we're done, we're talking specifically in terms of, by the time we're done, I said in the first year, somewhere in the region of $100 million is what we're going to actually invest across the board in terms of our investment in 4G.
On the issue of listing Vodafone on the Ghana Stock Exchange, Yolanda Cuba noted that the attention of the board has been drawn to it, but yet to make a decision. Eben Sabute's report for Joy Business.
Now, inflation for the month of February has moved up to 9.2%. The change reflects a 0.2% increment from January's inflation figure of 9%. According to acting government statistician Yanukwa Combat, increases in prices of non-food items such as recreation and culture, clothing and footwear, and other miscellaneous items were key drivers for the marginal increase.
By 2019, the year-on-year inflation rate was 9.2%, compared with the rate of 9% recorded in January 2019. The monthly change rate in February 2019 was 1%, which is the same as the change rate recorded for January 2019. The year-on-year non-food inflation rate for February 2019 was 9.7%, compared with the rate of 9.5% recorded in January 2019. The year-on-year food inflation rate for February 2019 was 8.1%, compared with 8% recorded in January 2019. The year-on-year non-food inflation rate of 9.7% is 1.6 percentage points higher than the food inflation rate of 8.1%. In February 2019, the year-on-year inflation rate for imported items of 10.6% was 2 percentage points higher than that of locally produced items of 8.6%. The main price drivers for the non-food inflation rate were clothing and footwear, a rate of 13.3%, recreation and culture, a rate of 13.2%, transport with a rate of 12.8%, furnishing, household equipment and routine maintenance, a rate of 11.6%, and miscellaneous goods and services with a rate of 10%. The price drivers for the food inflation rate were coffee, tea and cocoa, the rate of 11.6%, fruits, a rate of 10%, mineral water, soft drinks and fruit vegetable juices with a rate of 9.2%. 9%, and meat products with a rate of 9.1%. 4 regions, namely Upper West, Brong-Ahafo, Western, and Ashanti, recorded inflation rates above the national average, and Volta region recorded the same inflation rate as the national average of 9.2%. The Upper West region recorded the highest year-on-year inflation rate of 11.4%, followed by the Brong-Ahafo region with a rate of 10.2%, while the Upper East region recorded the lowest year-on-year inflation rate of 7.9% in February 2019.
All right, so what do all these figures mean for the ordinary people? Joining us on phone for some further explanation is economist with Data Bank, Courage Marty. Thank you very much, Courage, for joining us on the marketplace. Now, so what do these figures mean currently for the people?
Well, good afternoon, Matt. Thanks for having me. Essentially and basically, what this means is a higher cost of living, because what it means is that after January, when we had inflation rate of 9%, it means you need 9% more to buy the same items, 9% more of the previous year's cost to buy the same items. Now, if you compare the February cost of living or the February rate of increase in price levels, you would need 9.2% more. So it means that the rate of increase in the cost or price levels have gone up slightly. And what it means now is that there is pressure on disposable income.
All right, now, so what also does it mean for businesses?
For businesses also, so there are a number of ways. This is a pass-through from cost of operation onto the final consumer. Now, if disposable income is under pressure, then it is difficult to buy as much as I used to buy. And so demand or real demand may be affected. So what you find out is that aggregate demand may slow down, and because of purchasing power being affected, people will not buy as much. And then that means that business confidence can be negatively affected. And then either you absorb some of the margins to avoid further loss of customer or purchasing power, or you just have to keep passing it on depending on the nature of your business. And then that could affect profitability at the end of the day.
All right, now we've also witnessed a consistent depreciation of the country's currency for some time now. Now, coupled with this current, inflation rate, what does it tell us as a people, and what does it give for businesses?
Well, it tells us that there is a limit beyond which depreciation will start still paying through to general price levels. So there is a point where you continue to experience depreciation, and you can still remain assured that the pass-through to price levels will be lower, because probably the adjustment in prices would not be so significant, and that will not be reflected in the general cost of living. But beyond a certain threshold, today we have on the interbank market a year-to-date depreciation of 8%. At the Forex Bureau, it's about 10%. And I reckon that we have crossed that threshold, where now it is posing an upside risk to inflation. And so to businesses, then that will mean a higher cost of operation, which has to be passed on to consumers if nothing is done and it is protracted.
And do you really think that the persistent depreciation correspond with the current inflation rates? Because we've seen the cedi, like you said, depreciate very, very steeply. Don't you think this inflation rate could have gone or should have gone up further than this?
Well, so you will need to look at a model that looks at the exchange rate multiplier, which essentially conveys the depreciation into the inflation basket. Now, at the moment, and based on figures I have seen, I think this is just consistent with the model that the central bank uses, and that this is the level where you start to see the pass-through. It is the protractedness, beyond 5% to 8% depreciation, then you start seeing the pass-through. So I am not surprised that it is this level of depreciation that has affected just a marginal increase in inflation rate. Now, beyond this level, then we may start seeing it in accelerated form. But at these levels, I think what we've seen is just consistent with the rate of depreciation so far.
Many thanks for your time. Courage Marty is an economist with Data Bank. Away from inflation, Sinapiaba Savings and Loans Company Limited has dismissed suggestions its youth apprenticeship program is a scam. Officials are therefore encouraging unemployed youth to enroll to build capacity for sustainable livelihood. The first batch of trainees of the initiative has graduated at separate ceremonies at Agogo and Konongo in the Ashanti region. Nana Yaojima reports. All right, so we'll bring you the story shortly after this break. Thank you very much for staying on. Welcome back. Now to our earlier story, where Sinapiaba Savings and Loans Company has dismissed suggestions its youth apprenticeship program is a scam. Officials are therefore encouraging unemployed youth to enroll to build capacity for sustainable livelihood. The first batch of trainees of the initiative has graduated at separate ceremonies at Agogo and Konongo in the Ashanti region.
About 2,500 youth have so far been trained in various technical and vocational skills. 1,000 people are currently under training. In an era of scams and challenges in the financial sector, recent recruitment for the Sinapiaba Entrepreneurship Program was hit by rumors of scam. Board member Theodosia Jackson wants the youth to take advantage of the opportunity as she allays the fears of potential applicants.
I think a lot of banks have come and they have not been able to meet their requests or what they needed. They have been disappointed. So now it is very difficult. People think it's a lie, a ploy, a 419. So when we even make the announcement that people should come, they fail to come. And secondly, the unfortunate thing that has happened with banks, it makes people afraid to deposit their monies into banking.
Mrs. Jackson also admonishes Ghanaians to be cautious about where they invest their money.
I want to assure all and sundry that when you come to Sinapi, we have over 6,000 clients who have borrowed money from Sinapi. So if Sinapi is running away, where are we going? People rather have our money. So there is no way Sinapiaba will stop operation. So I encourage everyone that Sinapiaba, when you come, you are assured of the safety of your money. So nobody should be afraid to come to Sinapiaba.
The program trains youth in preferred vocations for free and helps set them up. It comes with interest-free loans and tools to facilitate their growth in the business world.
I enrolled after I heard them advertise on radio. It has really helped me. Now I have a vocation. I envisage a bright future. Now I have a vocation. I'm very grateful to Sinapiaba for that. I couldn't pursue higher education, so I did my best when I got this opportunity. And now I have a vocation.
I will encourage every parent to enroll their wards in this program. It is very beneficial.
Let's now cross over to the northern region, where some clients of Coast Securities have besieged the premises of the company in Tamale to demand payment of their invested funds. They expressed disappointment in President of Group Indum, Dr. Papakwesi Indum, for not fulfilling his promise to start paying them by the 1st of March. Correspondent Martina Bugri spoke with some of the disgruntled clients who shared their frustration.
This morning, I don't have any access to it. When my children are going to UDS, it was a problem. I have to go and sell my devices, which I'm using. I don't have nowhere to get any money. And from sources, they are telling us that Papakwesi Indum, that he borrowed money to by this President Nana Akufo-Addo. That made us not to get money to pay us. So who voted the government to power? And if the government knows that he did not borrow money from Papakwesi Indum, they should come out and say it on air. Or if you know you collected money from Papakwesi Indum, you should pay the money and they will pay us. If you didn't collect any money, you should arrest Papakwesi Indum into custody so that he will find our money for us.
55,000 Ghana cedis. And since last year, my investment matured and I'm still struggling to get both the principal and the interest. The company promised us that our monies will be paid right from the beginning of March, based on the what we call it, the condition that was given to them by the regulators, that the Securities and Exchange Commission asked them to stop all structured finance investment since June last year. So because of that, they they ask customers to wait until when the period is over before they start paying their investment back to them.
So what have they been telling you?
Since that time, the assurance given to us by Papa Kwesi Indum, the president of Group Indum, is that they are going to use 3 years to pay our investments, and payment will commence on the 1st of March 2019. And for all you know, today's date is 30th March. There is nothing going on as far as payment is concerned.
Since 3 years ago, and up to now, I've not even received anything. It was supposed to mature, that was in June last year. Up to now, each time I come, they keep telling me stories. Go and come, go and come. I'm a student, and I'm supposed to pay before I'll be able to partake in my end of semester exam. So right now, we have invested. My main motive for investing was to go to school. Right now, I've invested this amount of money, thinking that maybe when it's time for me to go to school, I will just retrieve the value. Now, I was not even able to write my exams. Aside that, we have children and other things to take care of. So why do we invest such amount of money with his bank, and up to now, he's not giving us our money?
All right, so let's get on phone and speak with Martina Bugri. Now, Martina, were you able to speak with any of the management staff?
The premises of the Coast Securities was locked. The customers told me they were there since morning around 8 o'clock. And after the time I was leaving around 10, nobody had come. I went and came back around 12 p.m. at 12 noon, and no one was still there. And so the place is locked, no one to talk to. We tried to look to get the officers, but we're told that nobody has been there the whole day.
So what was going to be the next step for these clients?
That they tell me that what they are going to do next is to mobilize themselves and hit the streets of Tamale. They say not just Tamale, but any other person who has investments with Coast Securities from any other part of the 3 regions will join them. They would continue the protest until they get something concrete coming from government. They say that it's building up, and they fear that it could escalate to something else.
Many thanks for that update. Martina Bugri is our correspondent in the northern region, Tamale. Now, the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, ACCA, has called for the enforcement of legislation governing corporate governance to ensure good ethics and are practiced by all organizations. This call was made at an ethics forum organized by the professionals and members of the association. And we bring you details of that story in our subsequent bulletins. But on that note, we draw the curtains down on this afternoon's edition of The Marketplace. With me, Emmanuel Abuaji Biafi. Have a good afternoon.